Well, everyone, welcome to World of War Comics. My good friend, Mr. Christopher Priest, thank you for joining. Always love our conversations, my friend. Good to have you back. Sorry for being a little late. I was having technical difficulties. Me and Christopher were trying to hit the start button.
And we were talking about Matt Fraction.
We were talking about how amazing Matt Fraction's run is right now. Yeah, that was awesome. I couldn't agree with you more. His run is so fun right now. And I'm just dying for issue 8. I cannot wait for that to come out, but it's been great, and I'm really happy for Matt Fraction too. I mean, it's obviously a big book. We were kind of talking about that at DC. It's Batman, and at Marvel, I assume it's probably Spider-Man or X-Men are the two big books that you get, and couldn't be happier for Matt because he's killing it right now.
So I just got a delivery from UPS, and I just got I think the entire print run of Superman and Spider-Man. They sent me. Usually you get you get 5 copies. There you go. Be happy, right? And I'm like, now I have copies for everyone. I'm like,
You're Oprah on your block there, Christopher. You get one, and you get one.
Right. I'm like Oprah now. I'm like, oh yeah, here you go. You get a copy, and you get a copy. I just put them all in everybody's mailboxes, But is that out yet, or is that about to come out?
It came out today. In fact, I got it. I think right here. It's $9. So I saw the price. I'm like, damn.
Did you say $9?
$8.99. Yeah.
I didn't even look at it. Wow.
But it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's probably 60 to 80 pages, I would think. Wow. So I guess it justifies the cost because comics are $4.99 now for the most part. But yeah, here's this one right here. This is I think this is the Carmine and Alex Ross cover.
So, excellent.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I can't wait to dig into this today. It's like an anthology, so I think there's several short.
Are you saying Alex Ross painted over Carmine? Is that what he did?
I don't know if he painted over, but
it has an homage to Carmine.
I think it's a homage. Yeah, okay. It's a homage. Yeah, but it's beautiful. This is the DC version, and I can't remember when, but then we get the Marvel one. So DC comes out first, and then Marvel will have their stories between. It'll be Spider-Man and Superman.
That's okay. So there's going to be 2 of these books, one put out by Marvel and one packaged by DC.
You got it, and you must have got the DC ones today because that's what hit stores this morning.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, why can't I be in both? Come on, Marvel, what's up? Come on, But yeah, it looks great. I flipped through the thing. I'm glad that I could play some role in it. I had a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
And and now I have copies for. Well, virtually everyone, apparently. So lucky me.
Are you going to be at any cons anytime soon? I know you do a few a year, right? You try?
Yeah, I just came from Richmond, GalaxyCon Richmond. I'll be at GalaxyCon Nashville Memorial Day weekend, and then the week after that at Phoenix Fan Fusion, I'll be down there. So I'll be around somewhere. Yeah. So sharpen your pencils. There we go.
I love it. Well, at least you have things to take to the con that you could find for fans. That's kind of nice, right? As a writer, when you get all your comps.
Yeah. Well, it's even nicer when you have someone to help you carry them down there. The comic books are heavy.
You've been in the industry long enough, Chris. So you got to have a couple people that would step up and help you with that, man.
Yeah, I probably. I could probably wrangle some relatives or nieces and nephews who owe me money, for all that ice cream I bought them. So,
For sure, man. For sure. I did want to talk to you because of your history and the role that you have played in the past. Let me pull it out right here. I got it somewhere. I'm sure you saw all the noise around the excitement of the Dakota.
Oh yeah, the Dakota incident.
The Dakota incident, which that was phenomenal, man.
Yeah, they did a great job.
They did great. I thought I had it right here in front of me. I was at MegaCon, and while I was out there, I saw Morgan, who was one of the writers on it. And
Mr.
I had him on
himself,
before.
yes.
Yeah, great guy, young kid, man.
Yep.
And he was part of the Milestone Initiative, which I think they only did 1 year, right?
That I can't say. I don't know, but I know they did it at least 1 year, certainly. Yeah.
Well, I thought I had it in front of me. Sorry, Christopher. But anyways, here it is. So I got cover A. I got a couple of them signed by him. I'm hoping I see Stephanie Williams somewhere. Get her, and then I can fill up or Joseph Illijon quite a bit. So somehow I got to find him. I think he just mainly stays on the East Coast, so I'm not sure how easy that'll be. But
that's because he's rich.
Yeah, exactly. He seems to be doing all right, man.
Well, he's rich in spirit anyway. Yeah,
exactly. So, what were your thoughts on that? Did you get a chance to read any of it?
I read all of it. Yeah,
Did you? Yeah, it was good.
No, I thought they did a terrific job. It's it's tough to ask me about stuff because I'll start editing, and I'll just go, well, I was just struggling with the whole idea of Luther being the president of the United States, and I know that wasn't their doing. That's in DC continuity, but I'm like, come on.
I agree with you.
Come on, what else you got? Come on, but I thought they did a great job. I've become very friendly with not only Morgan but with Nicholas Draper Ivy. Terrific writer, artist, painter, colorist. I bet he can dance too. I mean, he's a guy to keep he is a talent to keep your eyes on. I mean, I was going to say he's an artist. No, he's a writer. No, he's a talent to keep your eyes on. And I kind of spread the gospel of Nicholas around to anyone who will listen. That I think that wow, he's really just the one to watch. I think he's going to just take off any day now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved it. I'm glad to see these iconic characters be front and center. I'm glad that it went to a second printing, so I can't wait to get some of those covers, which was absolutely amazing. There was a little, just talking to Paul and some of the guys over at Black Comic Lords, someone leaked some of the information a little early. And there was this.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for a lot of fans, especially as everyone wanted this to be successful, because I think there's a true desire to have these characters play a lot bigger role within the DC universe. Mm-hmm. And so to leak it like that when they all Joseph and all of them had this 100,000 issue goal for fans to get behind.
Sure,
there's a lot of frustration, but didn't seem to impede anything because they're going to second printing, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen a little of that chatter, online with the content creators, and the content creators really, like yourself, are really responsible, I think, for the success of this book. Is just getting the word out, and just making people understand that reading bootleg stuff online or even trying to wait for the collected edition is not a way to effectively message a publisher about what the audience wants. You message the publisher by voting with your wallet before final, what is it, FOC, final
order cutoff.
Final order cutoff. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Before FOC, which is why you should order Vampirella #1 before FOC, which is any day now, I think.
Any day now, yeah.
But
next week.
Yeah. But and we'll get to that in a second. But I think so I got a hint of this. This conspiracy theory that there was a leak and maybe there was intentional and blah 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 blah. And I know just about everybody running a desk, at these major publishers. That's not who they are. If it was a mistake, it was a screw up somewhere in IT or in marketing or whatever. But I guarantee you, nobody at DC did this on purpose to try to hurt Milestone or hurt anybody. That's some Fox News stuff. It's not. It's not who these people are. Yeah. It's just not. I know these people. It's not who they are.
Yeah. I think it's IT because the leak happened on the DC app.
Yeah.
My assumption is nobody at DC is running the DC app. It's probably a third party, right? Because that's their big business, right?
There's nobody at the office who knows how to do that. Yeah.
No, I mean, I wouldn't know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm in the grocery industry and I work for a company where we do have a website. We do sell products on our website. And when you have a launch date, you don't wait till the day to upload the new item. Right. You put it in there and it's in a queue.
Right.
And then a certain day, right, that queue, there's a trigger that you create within the queue that turns it on the date that you want it to go with the price point, all that stuff.
Without you having to physically hit the button.
Exactly. So my assumption, it was in the queue. Like they probably do all the titles that are going to be launched next week. This week, they're probably putting them in the queue. And on Wednesday morning, those comics go live. My assumption it was in the queue, and somehow that title, did what it did. So I agree with you. I'm not sure anybody did anything to cause any kind of negative issues toward the title. It's just unfortunate for DC and the fans for that to happen, because it created all this conspiracy and frustrated everybody. But sometimes bad things could be really good from a marketing standpoint to get more eyes on it. So I'm thinking that it drawed a lot more people to it, and then maybe they read it and maybe they weren't going to read it before all this happened. So either way, it hit the threshold to create a second printing, which is super exciting.
That's terrific. And fingers crossed on not only the success of that book, but the future success of Milestone. I think that that there's still a lot of good things that can come out of that shop.
Have you ever thought of a story or returning to any of the characters at Milestone?
Well, it's something that we've discussed, and I just had a very long discussion with Reggie Hudlin, and Dennis Cowan is one of my closest friends. I've known Dennis since we were 17 years old, so we're talking about it all the time. So who knows,
Well, I'm a big Dennis fan. One day I will get him on the podcast. I know he's kind of at this elite level.
He's not at elite level.
I mean, he's been doing it at a high level, but this book right here, me and Joseph Village had long conversations on, and this is absolutely fab. The Kickstarter that they did, this thing is dynamite, my friend.
Wonderful.
Dynamite, but I'm a big fan of Dennis. He's incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's on Nightwing right now. Issue.
Why is he on Nightwing and I'm not? That's very irritating.
You gotta ask
who's writing it?
That is Dan Waters.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him.
I mean, the Nightwing title for me, it's been really good. I have all the issues, and I was very excited. Dexter Soy was on Nightwing before that. I don't know if you know Dexter, the artist, but phenomenal artist. I mean, beautiful art. I'm not sure. Maybe he's moving on to something else, but to know that Dennis is coming on, like I got my issue back here, and I'm like,
but there's a lot of new. I mean, besides the Absolute universe, there's obviously a lot of new launches that are coming out. So people are being shuffled around left and right, up there. But I kind of found out about Dennis on Nightwing kind of after the fact, and I was like, Dennis, without me? Okay.
What the hell's going on, man?
Yeah, the world has gone insane, Tommy. It's gone insane.
It kind of has, to be honest. I was really happy, and obviously with your history and Milestone, just wanted to make
by the way, one more thing about Nightwing. What I really like about it, and what DC should really like about it, is that Dennis actually is a martial artist. And when we were kids, everybody wanted to be Bruce Lee, so we were all pretend martial artists. And I took karate for a while until my mom came to the dojo and saw two brown belts fighting and said, "Oh no, it's too violent. Come on, Chris, you have to leave." But Dennis, I don't know where he's ranked or if he's ranked, but Dennis, as we speak, is somewhere practicing his taekwondo or whatever it is. So it's like he's the real deal. So I'd be really curious and anxious to see what he comes up with for Mr. Grayson.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. First issue just came out this last week, so it was good. It was beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna have to get my hands on it.
While you're reading Matt, you're gonna have a hard time talking to Dennis if you haven't read his stuff too, right?
Well, no, I can talk to him.
I'm just teasing.
But no, I'm gonna go out and I'm going to go down to my my LCS and buy physical copies of Mr. Fraction stuff and of Mr. Cowan stuff, because it's that good. I want to have, I could get the PDF, or I could wait for it to show up on online somewhere, but it's like, no, I'm going to actually, walk into my local comic shop and go like, gimme. I want physical books of this stuff, because it's kind of exciting. What a lot of what DC is doing in particular right now is actually very interesting, very new, very exciting. And people are like, they're hyped about going back to the, getting down to the comic shop and reading comics again, as opposed to like, well, we're just going to keep our numbering up. We're actually really looking forward to the next issue of some of these books.
Yeah. I think absolute Batman has kind of taken a lot of the oxygen out of the room. It is what it is, right? And it's really good to get people into comic book stores, right? So I think Marvel and DC, in my opinion, that's one of the big roles that they play because of the IP that they own. Their job is to bring them in.
Right.
And I mean, when I'm in there, that's when I'm picking up Vampirella. That's when I'm picking up, you name it, Invincible or something like that.
Right.
So you need those two publishers to be publishing some really good stuff to drive people into the shops, right? Right now, and it goes back and forth over the years, and you've been in the industry for a while, it goes back and forth between titles. Right now, it's the absolute Batman. Yep. I think the revamp, this is just my own opinion. I know nobody at DC from an editor standpoint and leadership, but I'm thinking with the popularity of absolute, it's not just Batman. I mean, Kelly Thompson's Wonder Woman is fabulous.
Yep, I heard.
Superman is fabulous. And you got all the Martian Manhunter, all that. I think they looked at some of their other titles that have been paying the bills for 60 plus years, and they wanted to change things up too and bring a lot of excitement. So you got, Matt over at Batman, you got Dan over at with Nightwing. I think Tony Fleece is doing a Deathstroke, which I would love for you to read, because you have quite a good run of Deathstroke yourself. Scotty Young is on Lobo.
Scotty Young, how did they do that?
I don't know, but he's on it, man.
On a monthly? Funny. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he proved himself with I Hate Fairyland. I think they're on issue 40-something. So he's been writing that one for a while now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I can't read Deathstroke. That's too much like going back with your ex.
Yeah.
I wish them well, and I hope they do a great job with it. But I'm like, see ya.
Exactly. So yeah, to your point, there's a lot of banger, I think, titles out there, and so yeah, no, I'm excited. As a DC guy, I love all comics, but I'm very DC, and I'm really excited.
You think?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, look at I got about 700 DC figures. I have Marvel too. Yeah. They're in the corner. My DC is
in the corner. I'm sure Marvel will be happy to hear that. I got a book at Marvel. I don't know when the last issue is ever going to come out. The World to Come. We're waiting on issue number 6. I think
got it right here.
Huh?
I got it right here. I love the title. And I think if people like Joe Quesada, we know him from all the things that he's done from leadership. Sometimes because there's gaps between his art, we forget how amazing he is at art.
Oh my gosh. And he's really just swinging for the fences here. Yeah. But I made this joke that I think that Joe Quesada is out playing golf with Jim Lee, and that's why those books are late. They were waiting on the final issues of
6, right?
Of Hush, and the World to Come, and soon as they get back from vacation, we'll put those books out.
Well, I don't want to throw anybody on the bus, but I was just at MegaCon and they both were there. Christopher.
Were they really?
They both were there. Yes,
sir.
Oh,
wow. That's a photo we should have. Like, these two guys like, get back to work, you bastards.
They were both there, though, my friend.
I've seen the pages from issue 6. He's almost done with it. They are amazing. It's just he's leaving nothing on the table. So here's a big spoiler for issue 6. I know this is going to shock you, but in issue 6, at the end of the story, there'll be a big fight. No. I know that's going to shock you. I'm sorry.
Get out of here.
I hate to just spoil it like that. So I mean, and Joe is drawing like every hair on every leg of each centipede that curls across the floor. While the big battle is going on. I mean, he's just, what can I tell you? He's my buddy. I love him. Yeah. He is doing amazing work. It's taking a little long. I thank all the readers for their patience. And I really thank the readers for not killing me after issue 1 came out. Because for a while, I thought that, I'd have to go into, the comic book writers, protection program or something.
Yeah. I mean, we were just kind of talking about YouTube and social media, and man, there was a lot of people upset that there's a white Black Panther, man. I was like, holy shit. And I had you on, I think, when issue 1 came on. Yeah. And I think we're like, guys, issue 1 of 6. Let's all take a deep breath here. The story will continue. And it's been great, Christopher.
That was the amazing part. I kept thinking, it's a story, guys. So like in the 70s, you may be too young for this, but in the 70s, Neil Adams did this cover of Action Comics where Superman is walking into his son's bedroom, and you see his son is seated on the bed, dressed in a Superman costume, and the son is transforming into an ape. And Superman comes through the door and he goes, "My God, my son is becoming an ape." And when I was a kid, I saw this. I was like, "Wow, what's going on here?" That 15 cents, that was my 15 cents. Okay, pony up. I've got to know what the hell is going on here, And never once did I even think about. Let me write off a letter to DC. Dear DC, we really don't appreciate this ape stuff going on here. I just figured it's a story.
Yeah.
Let's see how it works out. Now, we had the liberals incredibly pissed at us. And then we had some conservatives or a certain group of conservatives very happy. And so, they're like, "Way to go. He's a priest. He's
what we always wanted."
Yeah. And so the way I look at it, Joe and I, we have finally done what no one else could do. We have brought America together in their hatred of the world to come #1, and what people missed is that Fantastic Four 52 ended with Black Panther, with this reveal where Black Panther pulls his mask off and he reveals his face, and we see he's a black man. And the thing is, we see this now and think nothing of it. Right. But at the time, no one realized there was a black guy. Superheroes were always white. It never occurred to anyone that this guy could be. So he pulled the mask off, and there's this collective gasp across, the comic book reader spectrum.
Yeah.
So the end of issue #1 of The World to Come, minor spoiler alert, or if you've been in a coma for the last 6 months and don't know anything about it, there's an unmasking and a gasp that goes along with it. And this is a mirroring of the reveal from Fantastic Four 52.
Yeah.
But anyway, I hope that I can't predict, because I can't be a judge of my own work or Joe's own work, because Joe's co-writing this thing. But issue 6 will be out, I believe, late May or early June, whenever that is. And we certainly hope we stick the landing. I can tell you, even if you hate the story, get it for the art. Joe he's really bringing it home.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. It's beautiful. I'm really excited, just waiting for issue 6 so I could find out the ending here. But it's been great. Has anything been released or anything you are able to talk about as far as other projects after this is done at Marvel and or at DC, or nothing that can be announced yet?
Nothing can be announced yet. I mean, I did a story for Black Panther's 60th anniversary. I did a story for the Superman Spider-Man thing.
Yep.
And I am talking to people at Marvel about these other things that I can't mention because they're not a go yet. And no one would believe me if I told you. So it's gonna be, "Oh, he's lying." And then if it doesn't, and then if it doesn't get greenlit or if it doesn't come out, then they go, "See, we told you he was a liar. He's a liar." So but there are ongoing discussions. It's there's still stuff up there that I would like to do, or that I'm curious about doing, and we'll see. I mean, the thing is, now the way it works is there is an algorithm, so we could have the best ideas in the world. You have ideas, I have ideas, the editors have ideas, but they get the idea, they assemble the creative team, and then they send the memo downstairs to marketing, and marketing, they put it into like the dreaded machine, and the algorithm spits out, what P&L, profit and loss, numbers or whatever like that. And then those numbers come back upstairs to the publishers, and the publisher has to make the call. So it's not like the old days where, like, if the editor thought it was funny or the editor thought it was a good book, they would just greenlight it.
Right.
Now, and then they would go down the hall to marketing and say, "Hey, we're doing Potato Man.
Yeah.
Go forth and sell it. And your job is to go sell it." Now the marketing end of things plays a much bigger role, where they are kind of it's almost like the tail wagging the dog a little. So it's not enough for me to go, well, let's have a discussion with Marvel and, find something to do. It's like, let's find something that'll pass muster with the dreaded algorithm. And that's not always easy. There's every year, I think there's probably hundreds of great ideas and creative teams that don't get greenlit. That has nothing to do with their talent or the quality of their idea. It has everything to do with the dreaded algorithm.
Wow. Yeah, that's a bummer. I'm not sure the algorithm is always right.
It's not always right, because a lot of these books get canceled after 4 or 5 issues, right? Yep. Oops, algorithm, oops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the human element, even with AI and everything, maybe I'm just getting old and I don't see it.
No, nobody knows nothing.
Yeah.
No, seriously, Tommy, listen, what happened? ABC, they put together this sitcom like way back in the 70s called they called it Happy Days.
Yeah.
And it was a vehicle for now I can't remember his name, the guy who played Richie Cunningham.
Yes, the famous
the famous director whose name we can't remember. So it was a vehicle for him. And what happened? The audience glommed onto this other guy, this unknown actor. Right?
Everything, the Fonz.
Yeah, and I'm going, okay, so what does that tell you? It's like, we don't know what Wolverine was just some like one-off character that Len Wein created for the Hulk, right?
Yeah. Ron Howard, by the way. Thank you, Chris.
Ron Howard. I'm sorry. We're just complete, Mr. Howard. I'm sorry. We're complete morons. I love your work. I will come and wash your car. I feel bad about that. But you see what I mean? It's like, the algorithm, I think these are useful tools and publishers need all the help that they can get. But at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and be creative and have some fun. Exactly. And you never know what's going to take off. Did DC know that Absolute Batman was going to explode like this? Absolutely not. Pardon the pun. I don't think they knew. I think they had hopes that it would do well, but did they know it was going to be as big as it became? Now, is that because Scott is a genius? Probably, but it's also just because it's fresh, it's different, it's new, and it's taken, it's like a real breath of fresh air that's taken the fandom by storm, and really they just glommed onto it, and now you have all of these lapsed fans coming back to the LCS, and I guarantee you that the algorithm did not predict the numbers that book is doing. So the human element still needs to play a part in what the publishers decide to greenlight or not greenlight.
Yeah. No, agree. You know what print number they're on issue 1? Have you heard?
I have no idea. No.
They're on their 10th print. 10.
That's sick.
Christopher, 10. That's insane.
Wow. Congratulations, Scott. Wow. Outstanding.
I don't know if I've ever seen a 10th printing of issue 1. Like we get the facsimiles years later, and every so often we'll get X-Men 1 or Spawn 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
They're on issue 18 and they're on a 10th run. That's
unbelievable.
Crazy. Unbelievable. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I have to be happy for these guys, for the creative team, because that enables DC to take a chance on Zatanna and Hawkman and whatever else they're doing. Yes.
Yeah.
And certainly,
Milestone,
yes, and Milestone, because what's good for it's good for the comic shops, it's good for the industry, get those numbers up, so I'm not mad at you. I'm like, absolutely, go and sell them comic books, man, because it's good for all of us.
Exactly. Well, I mean, let's talk a little Vampirella, Christopher, because we were talking a little bit earlier. Excuse me. Issue 12 came out last month. We are going to an issue 1 again on Vampirella, correct? But it's still, if I remember correctly, it's still following a lot of the storyline, right?
Yeah, it's still in continuity, but there's a really fresh break. We finish up a story that's set in the Old West with issue number 12, with really intensely gorgeous artwork by our artist Ergun Gunduz, who just went all in on the Old West. He had so much fun during all that landscape and all those vintage clothing and the vehicles and the train from hell and the vampire marshals, like
the native character in there, native.
The Marshal.
Was it the Marshal, the native with the headdress?
Because the Marshal was wearing a 10-gallon hat. It was a Native American.
The Native American, yes. So
Marshal.
he did have a 10-gallon hat on, but he also had the headdress. He looked fabulous.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah. And actually, there was a point where they encounter an old chief, and the chief is actually wearing the headdress, and this takes place during the early part of the 20th century. So this is right at the cusp of the end of the Old West. The Old West is dying, which is signified by the arrival of the first automobile in this Western town. So in issue 11, it's a 2-part story. So issue 11, begins with the arrival of this car, which is like a signal of death, that death has come to our town. And along with them come the like the Earps, like the Wyatt Earp group, they show up, the Marshals, except they're vampires. So they show up, and it's kind of a problem. And Vampirella and her buddies have been shunted back in the past due to stuff we won't get into. And then they're debating whether or not they should intervene to keep the town from being wiped out by the vampire marshals. Because if we are we changing history? We're not supposed to be here. So there's some debate about, what to do. So that story wraps up with issue number 12. And them heading towards some mystic portal to find their way back to their present day. So our new volume, or new season, if you want to put it that way, begins with the number 1 that is shipping in April. And this is the lead into our issue 700, which will probably happen at the end of this year or beginning of next year. So this is now the drum roll to that. So we've taken Ergun and kind of jumped him ahead to get him started on issue 700. He will appear, his pages will appear sporadically over the next few issues, but he won't be doing the full issues. Meanwhile, we have a new guy named Davis Getton that is that will be helming the book, beginning with our new issue number 1. And Davis's art style lends itself to the storyline that we're doing now, which is more of an urban, more like Daredevil, where Vampirella is functioning more or less as a enforcer.
Or street, right?
Yeah, very much so. And our story is about it's called 3.5 Women, and it's about these four characters, 3 women and 1 teenager, who are bound together in kind of a trauma bond, and these are like Vampirella's closest circle of friends, or in case of her evil twin, kind of her frenemy, I guess. And they're all keeping this terrible secret from her that we will reveal in issue 3, I suppose. Or at least that the reader, if you've been reading the book all along, you know what secret they're keeping from her. If you don't, you don't have to know. You don't have to know anything about Vampirella at all. Issue number 1.
Point, right?
Say again?
It's a good jumping on point too.
It's the perfect jumping on point, because we're doing the Jetson song. You remember, the Jetson song. It's like, me, George Jetson, Jane, his wife, their boy Elroy, and like all the characters come on stage. They do a little bit of business that kind of tells the kid who they are and how they function in the cartoon. Okay, so what you will see in Vampirella number 1 is we will be bringing these characters on stage one at a time and going, this is who this person is, and this is how this person functions. So it's like you don't need to know anything at all about what we've been up to for the last few years to read and enjoy this book. And it's kind of in a dark crime noir feel to it, with a bunch of mysticism and Count Dracula skulking around in the background and so forth. But it's a really well done book. I'm really happy with what Davis is doing, and our colorist Giovanni, whose last name I can't pronounce. I'll screw it up. And I'm just really, I can't tell you how proud I am of the book. I'm really very excited that we're doing this and that I have an opportunity to do this, and really just kind of like tweak the tone on the book and give it more of a sort of Batman, Daredevil tone to it, while Vampirella is dealing with her own sort of emotional issues and trying to set a new course for her life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do have. I think it's okay to share the covers, right?
Oh, you could share whatever you like. You could share stuff on the inside if you want. I don't care.
Okay.
You know, absolutely.
I just want to be careful that I don't.
Nah, it's cool.
All right. Vamp covers here. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. No, those are mock-up covers. Those are covers that are from my Vampler.
Oh, that's the Vampler. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the Vampler.
So those are sharing this then, right?
Those are scenes from Volume 5. We're now on Volume 8. So those are scenes, from Volume 5. But the first one there with the plane, there's a little girl on the bicycle. Yeah. That's the half of the 3.5 women. That's her. That's Katie. Katie is like she has a Billy Batson Shazam relationship with Draculina. Draculina is the evil twin of Vampirella, and they have this cursed candle. And when Katie lights the candle, she swaps realities with Draculina and becomes Draculina. So they're sharing a life, like Marvel and Jones. What's his name? The kid, the Marvel kid. So that's her. And then the one on the right with all the characters in bed, that's Vampirella, obviously. To her left is that's Victory, who used to be involved in didn't end well, and now they're kind of frenemies. And that's the guy upside down. That's Benny the Witch. That's her. He's a male witch, and that's her best friend. And if you scoot down a little bit, okay. So wait. Yep. So now there's that's Shane, the first man. Shane is an insane, homicidal former Apollo astronaut. And then on the right, that's him playing golf on the top of the Capitol building in Washington. Scoot up a little bit more, and to the left there, that's our final issue of Volume 5, where Vampirella may or may not have married Dracula. That guy may or may not be Dracula. It's a long story. Yeah. And then on the right there, that's her first flight. That's from Vampirella Year 1, where she's being chased by bad guys, and she forces her wings to extrude for the first time, and she takes flight for the first time. And it's just a beautiful piece of art by Ergun. He just did an awesome job.
Yeah, that cover is my favorite for sure.
So you folks who are listening or watching now, if you would like a copy of the Vampler, because this thing is like 20 pages long, and it features excerpts from our Volume 5 from the issues of that kind of tell you. It's a primer on the series. This is what the series is about. If you would like a copy of this, you can go to priest.mx. That's priest Mary X-ray MX. priest.mx/Vampy. V as in Victor, AMPI. If you go to that website, you too will have a copy of this PDF. It's downloadable. You can post that link anywhere you'd like. As far as I'm concerned, it's free. It costs you nothing. And it gives you a chance to know what we've been up to and what the series is about.
Beautiful. I just posted it in the comment section here, everyone. It'll be also in the show notes below. So if you're watching this after the live, but yeah, just click right here, and there you go. You'll be able to get a read, and it is good, man. It is good. Yeah, I pulled up the wrong file. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's our site.
Sorry, right?
Yeah, Chari. Yeah, Chari. That's her therapist.
Yes.
Vampirella she was in a plane crash. She's the sole survivor of a plane crash, and this guy was appointed by the NTSB to provide therapy, trauma therapy. So he doesn't believe in vampires. He thinks she's just crazy. Yeah, and he has a personality.
Your interaction is hilarious.
Yeah, he kind of has a personality like Sam Jackson. So we're hoping that that Sam Jackson will play him in the movie. That he's just like do I have treat crazy space women written on my door? Answer me. Do I have treat crazy space people on my door? He's just hilarious. And there's a whole cast of characters, a whole little world we've kind of carved out for ourselves. And I tend to think of Vampirella as the best book that not enough people are reading, because they kind of stop at the cover, and they either buy the cover to collect the covers, because there's all these wonderful covers out there, or they don't buy it because of the cover, because they don't want to get yelled at by their wife if they come through the door and you got like this cheeky girl on the cover of the, so the Vampler, this thing here, is designed mainly to get past the cover and show you the inside of the book in a safe, non-judgmental space where you can look at issue of Vampirella, and decide for yourself. But I just hope you take a look at it.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. I'm trying to pull up the other covers too, because we do have the covers of issue 1. I pulled up the wrong file. Let me just pull it up while we're talking about this. While I'm looking for the file, because I had it right here, I have way too many things open. That's the problem with opening too many things on your computer.
It's because you're a genius.
Yeah, right. I don't know about that. My wife would be laughing her off if she heard you say that about me. Genius. Let's not get crazy here.
Might I add that the general premise of Vampirella, for people who don't know, at least are a Vampirella, because there's many Vampirella comics out there, and every writer kind of takes her in his own direction. But our premise with Vampirella is that Vampirella is about a single woman trying to make it on her own in the big city. Yeah. She just happens to be a vampire from outer space. So she happens to be, she wants what we want. She wants life, love, purpose. She wants a decent career. She wants all these things, but she's being troubled, I should say, by any number of things, by a homicidal former Apollo astronaut, or a retired demon living in Beverly Hills,
I do love that guy though.
Yeah, her evil twin sister, and her meddling 400-year-old mom who just can't help but get in her way. So it's got lots of comedy, it's got lots of action, it's got lots of tragedy, with everything that I do. Like, we did this book, Quantum and Woody, that was remembered for being funny, but there were lots of poignant moments in that book. It was a book about two guys who loved each other, who just got on each other's nerves. And that was me and my dear friend, the late Mark Bright. We loved each other, but my God, this guy was annoying, And so Vampirella is kind of like that, where you want this, you want, you hopefully one page you're laughing your head off, and then you flip the page and you go and you gasp and you go, oh my God. And like in issue number 1, you see her in her room staring at her empty crib where her son used to sleep, and he's gone now. And hopefully you feel that. You feel what she feels, and then in the next page, there's some silliness going on. So hopefully,
what happens to the crib too.
Say again? Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of like the whole point. Like, anytime you see, like, the story starts with, with a flash forward or whatever, where you see like this bit of action or something traumatic happens. Yeah. And then you cut back to like the psychiatrist, he goes, well, maybe you should start at the beginning, but anytime you see something like that, whatever you just saw in that action piece, that's the point of the story. That Vampirella is fighting with her sister in the apartment, and her sister knocks her into this crib, and she smashes the crib, and Vampirella just becomes devastated because she's just smashed the empty crib, and now this is the image system, is what they call it in screenwriting. This is the image system for the story, the baby crib. The baby crib means something, and now it's up to you, the reader, to follow along with the story, to discover, well, what does the crib represent? What does the crib mean? Why is the crib important? But this is what we're talking about. We're doing a really good job here. I just want more people to read it. I mean, I love the covers too. I want you to love the covers, but peek inside the book every once in a while.
I mean, I think that's fair. I do think that's fair.
We're working our butt off inside the covers here, folks. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I completely get it, and
I'm really.
It doesn't help when covers look like this, though, Christopher.
Oh, you found it. There you go.
I found it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they don't talk to me about the cover. That's the other department. That's the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. The cover does look pretty amazing, but I think what's really cool is the legacy number. We kind of talked a little bit about that kind of march towards 700, and that is just such an incredible milestone for
50 years. She's been out for 50 years. 50 plus at this point. She came out in 1969.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Incredible, man. Absolutely incredible to have that kind of longevity in a comic book. It's just, it's and we were kind of talking about this. I mean, obviously you have your Batmans and your Spider-Mans of the world that are, Spider-Man's over 1,000 now. Most titles, right, are not going that far. I mean, you get up to 100. That's pretty amazing, lucky, right? Yeah. If you're lucky. So you've touched, every major character over your career, but to be on another title that means as much as Vampirella and to hit 700, Christopher, I think that's incredible, man. Incredible.
Yeah, I'm really grateful to Dynamite that I can be along for the ride and that they didn't just can me and go, hey, 700's coming up. I wonder what Matt Fraction is doing.
That's too funny.
We love you, Matt. We love you, Matt. I don't even know you, but we love you, Matt.
We love you, Matt. Yeah, absolutely. This is my buddy Andrew. Andrew, hello. Got to see him at MegaCon. Glad you joined us tonight, man. Get out there and check out Vampirella, Andrew. This is awesome, man. Now, I've had Sarah Frazetta on several times. She's a wonderful person. I don't know if you had a chance to meet her. Obviously, her grandfather is the famous artist, Frank Frazetta. He has that incredible cover of Vampirella 1, which is about $40,000 if you get your hand on it in like a 5.0. It's like ridiculous. I guess the print run was real low and a lot of them are beat up.
You're talking about $40,000 for the comic? I thought you were talking about $40,000 for the actual painting.
Comic. The painting is probably in the millions.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Holy
cow. I would love to own one of these at one point, but I'll be looking for that like 1.0 where I could get it. It's really beat up, but I know what it is, and I'd be happy to say I own one. But that I don't think is coming anytime soon for me. But one day I will get my hands on it. But I want to show you something because she came out with a line of action figures. And I'm hoping you have one of these. If not, my job is to make sure you get one.
Oh, no. What might this be?
This is her Frank Frazetta issue 1 action figure.
It's posable?
It's posable.
Wow.
It comes with a bat. It comes with some skulls. Oh, I just dropped it. But it comes with a bat that she holds in her hand right here.
Oh, that's perfect.
She's in a gravesite. And what's really cool is one of the gravestones says Frank Frazetta.
Oh, no.
Another one says Eleanor Frazetta, his wife, who both have passed away over the last, probably 20 years or so.
Wow.
And then it says Frazetta Girls, which is her brand where she kind of keeps the legacy of Frank Frazetta on. They've made an entire line of action figures that Frank Frazetta, his art was part of. So Conan the Barbarian.
Wow.
1, 2. There's a bunch of them. And then obviously Vampirella. I was hoping that you got one, but if not, my job is to get one of these from Sarah and get it to you. So afterwards, tell me where we could send one because I'm going to talk to her. You need to have one of these
at
your house, man. As much as you've done on the Vampirella, Christopher, I feel, and going to 700, I just think that is such an iconic threshold. And to be part of that, but I wanted to show you because you need this, man. You should have one of these.
That would be terrific. We'll follow up afterward.
Man.
Yeah, that's terrific. It's great. Now, is that the brand? Is it Frazetta Girls? Is that what it's called?
Frazetta Girls. So her mom, which is the daughter of Frank and Eleanor, she started Frazetta Girls a little while ago with her daughter Sarah Frazetta, and now Sarah has taken over the business. So it's called Frazetta Girls. And they sell, anything that Frank Frazetta has ever touched. I got Frank Frazetta art books. I mean, I love this one came out. It's called Fine Lines.
Yeah.
And, here's Frank on the back. And it's just an art book that shows all of his famous paintings.
Wow. Outstanding.
But they just, they're keeping that legacy of Frank alive.
And they've got a site up somewhere?
They do. Yeah. Let me,
online. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show it to you right now, and I'll send it to you as well. See,
that's terrific.
And Sarah Frazetta is one of the most down-to-earth, amazing people too. So, but yeah, she's fabulous. But with you touching Vampirella as much as you had, it would be really cool for you to get one of those toys. So I'm going to take care of that for you, my friend.
Oh, wow.
Go see him. So, him and Baxi did Fire and Ice. Remember the animated, which at the time was really ahead of their time because it was like live action stills and then they drew over those. And that's why it looks so real. And so they did Fire and Ice characters right here. They got a bunch of, Frazetta's Snowman, a lot of his cartoon and comic book art, collector's cards. So I'll send this to you. Here's their newest one, the John Carter Mars character that they came out with, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Anyways, I'll send this to you, Christopher, so you can look at it later. But I'm gonna get you one of those. I'm gonna get one of those characters for you.
Vampy statue. Yeah.
You need one of these, my friend.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And hopefully, do you get all the old Milestone stuff? Does Todd McFarlane send you Icon and Static action figures or no?
Oh no, of course
not.
No.
We got to figure that out.
I wish he did. No. I've never met Todd. I would like to. There's a few people that kind of escaped me. I used to be like the gopher around Marvel. Yeah. And I kind of grew up there, and then over the years you kind of bounce from Marvel to DC and then back again and so forth. So over the years you kind of meet everybody. Never met him.
That's interesting.
Yeah, missed him somehow. Yeah.
Do you do San Diego Comic-Con ever or not really?
I try to avoid that. I only go out there when Nick Barucci drags me out there. So really, you have to ask him. Yeah. But I'm really an introvert. And it's too much sensory input for me. I'm exhausted like an hour after I get there, because there's so many. That and New York Comic-Con was just, whoa, it's just just really overwhelming. So never say never, but if you see me at San Diego, it's because there's something important going on, and they made me get on the plane.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean that makes sense. It's not for everybody. I do get a little bit of anxiety being in giant crowds like that.
Yeah.
So maybe it's sensory overload. I'm not 100% sure what causes it, but
I mean, you can't move. I don't know if people listening to us now really understand what we're talking about. It's really crowded, Really I mean, just trying to cross the street to get a ham sandwich is a big deal. It's just wow. And then if I'm at my table in Artist Alley and I have to make it upstairs to the to a conference room for one of the panels, I have to leave about half an hour, 45 minutes before the panel if I'm going to make it there. And then God help me if somebody recognizes me in the hallway. Hey, look, it's Christopher Breeze. Hey, how you doing? Let's talk about Spider-Man socks. What am I going to do? Say, get out of my way? I hope I'm never that jerk. I hope I'm never that guy. I try so hard. I yelled at some lady. I feel so bad. It was Sunday. No, it was Monday. I was checking out of the hotel. The hotel has this little loopy thing in front of the front door, and it's two lanes. There's a lane where you can move over to the left and wait for somebody to come out of the hotel with their luggage or whatever you're going to do. And then there's the lane that where you pass by all that to get out, and we're me and my niece, we're trying to get out, and some lady had pulled in front, and she was blocking both lanes. I don't think she realized there was two lanes, but she was parked. She had stopped her car diagonally across both lanes. So now behind us, there's 4 or 5. There's cars, there's trucks, there's giraffe, right? There's all this farm animals. Lady, move your car. So I went over to her and I said, "Excuse me, man, would you mind pulling in behind, blah, blah, blah." And I just kind of directed her there. And she looks at me, she goes, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm just a guest. We're just trying to get out of that." "Well, you don't have to be rude about it." And I just kind of lost it. I don't know what happened. I just thought I saw black, and all of a sudden I'm yelling, and I'm just because I just spent 4 days at a convention, and I was really wired, and I just wanted to go home. And then I have to go I have to go through TSA hell on top of that. So please move your car. I'm begging you. Please move your car.
Fair enough, Christopher. Fair enough, man.
I'm a nice guy. I don't do that very often. I don't pop. I feel bad, ma'am. If you're watching now, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. You can park diagonally across 2 lanes. I won't yell at you again.
All good. over the last I don't know how long, but the times that you've been on, Christopher, you've always been amazing to have on, my friend. Amazing.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I love talking comics with you. You have such a wealth of knowledge being in the industry. How many years has it been now?
47.
47.
I shouldn't say that. 47. You know, once they start calling you legendary, that's like Greek for unhirable.
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, that's sad that.
No, I'm pretty busy. I'm good.
Yeah, you seem busy. You seem like you're always busy, but I mean, at what point are you legendary?
I don't know.
47 is like you know how hard it is to break into the comic book world.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's less hard now than it was 10 years ago.
I wasn't paying attention. I think the first time I read it was they put out a hardcover of Batman versus Deathstroke.
Yeah.
And on the back it says legendary comics writer. Says who? And it just what usually you say legendary comic book writer Denny O'Neil, legendary comic book writer Len Wein, legendary comic book writer Marv Wolfman, legendary comic book writer Chris Claremont, I never thought of myself as in that club.
I don't know.
And I was hanging out with Chris this weekend, and I to this day I adore him. He was a seminal, he had creator in this business that had an impact on a whole score of writers. A lot of us writing today have we were all fans of his work, when he first came out. So anyway, I'm rambling. Go ahead.
Oh no, I love it. Yeah, Andrew says, nah, not at all. Legendary is a status earned through hard work and results. Couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got this interesting comic that I was not aware of. Let me show you real quick if you got a second.
Sure. I have no life.
Yeah, no. You remember this? Powers That Be? Jim Shooter.
No. What the heck is that?
I know. So this was the Broadway Comics preview edition. It says these are only given to a very select group of people. Powers That Be issue 1 preview edition shows the quality. So I guess Broadway Comics would send this out to certain people for them to look. This is an advanced edition, was printed 3 months ago, and I can't remember what year this was done. It's signed by Shooter.
Wow.
And the last time you were on, you were telling me the impact that Jim had on you.
Oh, sure.
Your career. And I was at a con, and I'm going to butcher the guy's name, but he also he's been a colorist for 30-something years in the industry. He knew Jim really well. He got one of these copies. It has Starseed, Fatale, all these characters I was not familiar with, and it was autographed by Shooter.
Wow.
I had to get it, and I was like, wow, that's so I didn't know if you knew anything about this when it came out or heard of Broadway Comics. You remember Broadway Comics?
It sounds very familiar, but I'm really that was Jim, wasn't it? Wasn't Jim behind that?
Yeah, he was.
Was that after Valiant?
Let me see the date. Because Valiant was what, 90?
Oh, don't even ask me.
92, 93. Let's see what. I need my glasses. I'm trying to remember what. Let me see if it has a year here.
If it was my guess, I would guess after, but.
Yeah, maybe. 1995.
Yeah, definitely after.
So it was after, because 91, 92, I think, was Valiant, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you were writing at Valiant, right?
I did some work for Valiant. I didn't do a lot of work for Valiant.
Okay.
I think I did more work for Valiant after Shooter left.
Okay, yeah. Was that during the Dinesh run?
Yeah.
In 2012?
Probably, yeah.
2011, somewhere around
I did some Solar stuff that where I was imitating. I was imitating Jim, if anything else, which was fun. I thought that Jim's work on Solar was mind-blowingly good. It was so good that I had to check twice and go, this is Shooter? Really? Because when he was writing Secret Wars, he was writing for a specific audience. He was writing for a general audience, and he was like trying to introduce all of these Marvel characters to an audience that may not know who Wolverine is, for example. With Solar, he was just kind of doing science fiction, and he was just writing with a fluidity and with a level of skill. Not skill. That's the wrong word for it. He always had a level of skill. But I always felt like a lot of his writing, particularly in the mainstream, was like he was trying to conform to his own rules.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was doing Solar with Windsor Smith, he
Yeah.
was just like, all right, I'm going to let my hair down. I mean,
Right.
such as it was, Jim always had short hair,
Yeah.
but I'm going to let my hair down and just kind of, I was just amazed at the quality and the sophistication of if you've never read Jim Shooter's Solar run with Barry Smith, in the name of God, go get it.
Yeah.
If it's out there somewhere, go get it. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. I mean, I got into comics in the mid 80s. I'm 50 now. I met my wife. So in the 90s, there was a little bit of break, but Image Comics brought me back with Spawn and Wetworks and all that stuff. I didn't get into Valiant until 2010, 2011, 2012, when Dinesh took over. And I felt at that time, Valiant might have been one of the best publishers with all the different titles that they had.
Yeah.
It was just so good. So good. I know they've tried to revive some of those as of late, and I picked them up, and I was really happy to read those again. But that time period in the mid 2000s was just magical.
Well, don't discount the fact that Fabian Nicieza, took over.
Yes.
Well, he took over some of that stuff when he took over Acclaim Comics.
Acclaim, yeah.
And the Acclaim gig, that's where Quantum and Woody came from.
Yeah.
The Acclaim gig, and I told him, because he was at the show this weekend, was one of the best editorial and creative experiences I've ever had.
Wow.
And I think it owed a lot to the fact that Fabian himself had been a freelancer. And once you've had the experience, once you've lived this life where you're afraid of, when is my next paycheck coming from? And am I going to have another job when this one is done? Once you've lived that life and experienced that anxiety, it really prepares you to be on the other side of the desk and relate to those people. And Fabian could relate to all of us as creatives because he himself had lived our life. He understood what we do for a living. And it was just an incredibly fun situation.
Yeah.
And it only went away because Acclaim, the video game company, went under and took the publishing with it, but it wasn't any fault of Fabian's.
Right.
So a lot of what followed in the Dinesh era, I'm not saying that it's all Fabian, but a lot of that stuff evolved out of what Fabian started.
Love it. Yeah. Did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. One last topic before I go. Zero.
With an X.
With an X.
Xero. Yes.
Xero. So I went through my old boxes and started pulling out some of those issues again. I know there's been news off and on for some time now. I talked to Joseph Illich about this because I know he's a little bit involved, if I'm not mistaken. At least it's on his website. And 50 Cent has a little bit of involvement from an investment standpoint. I don't know a whole lot of it. I don't want to say something and be wrong. Is there any updates with live action or anything that you were all working on with that title?
Well, yes. The update is we are in what they like to call development hell.
Okay.
we are or in turnaround or in whatever you want to call it. But basically, there's a couple of problems. One is that I don't know that our group, because I'm working with a group, that includes Mr. Illich and others. I don't know that we wanted necessarily to shop this as a superhero property, but obviously when we show the comic book, it's got the guy in the mask and the costume and all this other stuff like that. So chances are, some of the studios, sort of got that impression that, okay, well, this is this is going to be like a superhero property.
Right.
And unfortunately, superheroes kind of got a bad name over the pandemic and so forth. And they were underperforming. And now the word that I'm getting is that the Marvel Studios and DC Studios pretty much own that genre, and other studios are they're not unwilling to compete, but even Sony still has the spider characters. Is that correct?
So they have Spider-Man and they have the villains.
So they got Kraven and Venom and so forth.
That's why they came out with those movies. They weren't great movies, but they needed to do something with it to be able to maintain the IP.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, which is like a bad reason to make a movie, you know,
100%.
or a comic book for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just right now it's like, okay, let's let's back off for a second and give it a rest, let it rest for like a year or so, and
Mhm.
we'll go back and we'll look at it again. But that's basically what we're talking about, where there was tons of interest, and then the pandemic, uh, and then a string of failures from Marvel and DC Studios, film failures from
Right.
Marvel and DC, that kind of made everybody real skittish about, like, okay, at least the studios,
Yeah.
real skittish about, like, well, where do we go from here? So, it's still a possibility. It's just kind of right now it's a little bit on hold, and I'm focusing on other things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes
But
100% sense.
there's every possibility that we'll do something in the comics realm. That door's still been open. I've been reluctant to kind of pursue that because I wanted to get the film version up on its feet. I wouldn't want to go in and do like a zero revival, to do what Tom King does so well, is to go back and revisit characters and just go, wow, look how amazing Human Target is,
Yeah.
and I would not want to do that. And then a studio steps up and says, okay, we're ready now. And they decide, because once a studio gets involved, they're going to make it whatever they're going to make it. I mean, they'll ask my opinion, but whether they take my advice or not is, wholly subjective,
Right.
because they'll be able to control that. So I wouldn't want to get this set up as a comic book with a new premise and so forth like that, only to have the studio come in and completely do something different. So I was kind of like waiting for the two worlds to to settle in, but there's still a possibility that we'll just move ahead with, we'd like to put out a collection of the original Criss Cross series, and maybe do something new with the character. So that's still a possibility. I just have to find time to do it because, I'm old.
Come on, Chris.
Takes a while.
Takes a while. Takes a while, yeah.
Little Geritol, little,
yeah.
And I got a lot of Vampirella to write. I mean, we've moved Aragon, our regular guy, over to issue 700. So right now I've got two pots on the stove. I'm writing what's coming out now, and I'm writing like 700, 701, 702. I'm writing that stuff there, and we're getting that stuff up on the board. So it's kind of like, at least for a while, I'm doing like, Vampirella bi-weekly or something. And that's taking up a bunch of my time, in addition to these other things that I can't talk about.
Yeah. No, that's a good problem to have, I think, Chris. That's a good problem to have, man. Well, I'm happy for you. I'll put that FOC, the lunar code, everything is in the show notes to make it really easy. Call your comic book store, get in your pull box. That's how you help titles become successful, is when they're being ordered on a regular basis.
Yep.
Make sure you get that ordered. And I'm really happy for you. Cannot wait for this next round of Vampirella. And I always appreciate you, Christopher, always coming on, man. Your conversations are always amazing to talk to. You're a wealth of knowledge, my friend, when it comes to comic books, man.
Well, thank you, Thomas. I have a great time on the show, and we'll talk again when we have when I can lift the veil of secrecy, or whenever Mr. Quesada delivers issue 6.
Yes.
And then they would see, was it all worth it? With all the hoopla. Is everybody okay now? Everybody's back to our neutral corners.
No, we definitely would like to have you back for issue 6 so we could dive into all the questions that started as crazy people losing their minds in issue 1, and then are we going to lose our minds in issue 6? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I can't say. I lost my mind a long time ago, so can't go by me.
Yeah. It's not about if, it's when, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's only a matter of time, buddy.
Right on, man. Well, Christopher, I appreciate you. Everyone, get out there and get Vampirella 1. Comes out in April. FOC, I think, is next week, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll put the date
right. Yeah.
And the lunar code down below. Get in your comic book shop, have them ordered. I think you're going to really love this next arc. And if you haven't read Vampirella in a long time, this is a great jumping on point. It's going to all make sense for you. I did get a sneak peek at issue 1, and it's a lot of fun. So.
And there's the link if you want to just look at the sampler there. You can go take a look at that too.
Yep. Got the link up here at the top. so you can see the sampler as well. And that's also in the show notes for all of you. So appreciate you, Christopher. Hang tight real quick if it's okay. Yep. And everyone else, we will talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out with us, and have a blessed week. Talk soon, everybody.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.